In this quiz, we are going to look at the Getting and Cleaning Dataset Week 1 quiz. And what we're going to do is just first off have a read of the question. The American Community Survey distributes downloadable data about US communities. So, download the 2006 microdata survey about housing in the state of Idaho using download.file. And it gives an address there. It gives two addresses and load the data into R. Now you should use this. You're going to be using this data for several questions. Actually, you only use it for one or two questions now, but in the previous incarnation of the course, there was quite a lot of questions based out of this. There's also a codebook given for the data set there, and you can see the address there. It's also given in the question when you do your homework. Now, the question in particular that is asked here is how many housing units? By the way, it might be a good idea to watch this in full screen mode on YouTube. So, how many housing units in the survey were worth more than 1 million US dollars? Well, I have the data set up here as Idaho. So, just let's have a look at head of Idaho. All lowercase letters, but you can just bring it in whatever way you want there. Okay, so I have the data set there. So I'm going to sort of skip past all the how to read in the data, just as a sort of quick remark. In case you were wondering, two important commands for that would be get working directory, just to make sure that you have it in the right working directory, and also read.csv. Okay, those are two important commands for uploading data. That's all I'm going to say in it because I want to move on past that. Download file is also actually quite useful there, but you can just download the data yourself. Now, actually I have it called Idaho Data, so I'm just going to change the name here to Idaho Data, capital data. There, sorry. Just bear with me 1 second, just so I can change the name. Idaho Data is Idaho. So, okay, now I can use what I have written here on the page. So, are we sure it's just the Idaho data set, first off? Essentially what I'm going to look at here is, first off, is the names of the columns. Okay. Now, there's quite a lot of data there. Now, if you were to read the code book that is given as part of this question, you get the explanations for all of these variables here. Just as a quick remark, st, variable 6, capital S, capital T, is essentially a name of the state. And we're just going to double check, as the question is specific to Idaho, do we just have data for Idaho? So, table, Idaho, data, and st. So, yeah, it's just for one state. It seems to be state 16. But anyway, we just take it as read that that is Idaho data and not data relating to, or there's no data mixed in from any other state like Maryland or Iowa or anything like that. So we have 6,496 observations for the state of Idaho. And what we were asked for is to find out how many sorry, let's just go back here. Check the PDF. What does the 16 mean? That's just indicated for the state of Idaho. Is there any missing data? Well, let's just look at that. No, I'm going to move on from that actually. I'll come back to that now very shortly. How many housing units are there worth more than 1 million US dollars in the state of Idaho? Well, first off, the relevant variables here are type, TYPE, capital letters, and value, VAL. So those are the two variables that we have to work with here. So let's just get a quick look at the state of the Idaho, the types of units that come as part of type. There's a variable here, type, now, just to sort of cut to the chase. That's the important variable that we have to look for. Let's have a look at it here. Let's get a summary of it. Okay. and the table one, two, and three. Okay. Now, if we were to read that later on, we'd sort of see that one refers to housing units, and two and three refer to other things like factory units or commercial units. So it's variable one is what we are specifically interested in. Okay. And let's get the value of that, of the values, and what we can do here is a cross tabulation of the variable of type, of property units, which includes housing units and other units like factory units, and the value of each. So what we could do there is specify the both variables one after the other, and ideally they're both categorical variables. So housing unit 1, and there are the indicators there as well. Essentially what these indicators are for value is a sort of level of level of cost of the property, and as it turns out 24 is the one that relates to $1 million or more. So it's actually that one in particular that we were interested in, value level 24, and we're also interested in type level 1. Again, how do I know that this is actually, I'm sort of skipping over this bit, but this is actually just reading the code book as indicated in the question. There's just no substitute for having a good look at the code book there and gleaning this knowledge yourself. So essentially there are 53 housing units that are worth more than $1 million, as in they're part of category 24 in terms of value. So that is the end of this presentation.